Hey guys, it's Daichi. We're going to continue on with part two. This is going to be phase two. And we're going to start off with a friend of mine's raid team that is currently progressing. And he has asked me for help with figuring out what they have going wrong. And we're going to start on Pargoth here because our Toshin is a lot simpler of a platform, in my opinion, than Pargoth. And this is where I think a lot of raid teams are griefing themselves and slowing down their prog and are getting like these 300, 400, 500 pull counts because this platform is slowing them down. So the biggest thing here is Pargoth's positioning. Every single guide video is going to lead to position Pargoth the exact same way, and I think it is the biggest baiting thing of all time. I think how a lot of guide videos are telling people to place Pargoth is a terrible, terrible thing to do given the skill level of a lot of people. And that's not to be critical, that's just saying this is not Race to World First anymore. This is not US 50, US 100, whatever ranking system you want to use, World 100, whatever. Players are just not going to be as good as those raid teams. So the strategies don't need to change a lot, but they need to be simplified just a little bit to help mitigate and lessen the damage taken, because the most difficult role to play in this game well is healer. And as you go higher in rank, maybe your healers get less as good. Maybe you have two really good healers, two really like mediocre healers, or not as good healers, whatever it might be. It happens all the time. I'm not trying to be an asshole, just telling you how it is and what I've seen based off my rating history. So you're going to bait. This bait's going to be good. And these orbs are going to come out in the circle. This circle completely envelops where all of the null binders are about to get gripped to, and also the Void Warden that needs to die. What does this mean? All of your melee cannot hit this Void Warden, the priority target, until this circle goes away. And also, as soon as the circle goes away, it's going to leave behind a debris field that's going to do a lot of ticking damage to all your melee standing in it. We don't want to take more damage. We want to take less damage. And taking less damage is going to make everyone more survivable and allow your prog to go better. So I would not do it this way, and I'll show you with their raid team why you shouldn't do it this way. So they get all these null binders in, and I want you to watch. This little purple icon is people standing in debris field. And as all the ads are dead, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, and it's gonna get to like everyone now, as everyone has to run through this puddle. And any priest main will tell you that this is miserable for them to deal with. They basically need a Tiger's Lust or a Freedom or something to help them get through this because they are too slow of a class, or they have to sacrifice Dispersion to run through this thing. Okay. It's also just a lot of extra damage, and it's not really going to show on this one, but it's definitely going to show on the next one. You're going to set these up into a triangle. We'll go over this positioning stuff later in the video. This Void Warden should almost be dead by now. Range DPS are slacking. It dies now, and winds come out. We're going to go to the next bait. And again, this circle is going to completely cover up the Void Warden, and this is where Pargoth is, done correctly, done wrongly, because a lot of the majority of the damage of Pargoth's platform is going to happen here in the 20 seconds. Get all these ads in. Melee can't hit the far null binders. They can't hit the Void Warden. We're falling behind on doing anything, and we also just can't hit Pargoth as melee. To me, that's all bad. You're not going to be able to hit Pargoth either way as a melee, but like at least you can be hitting something and like getting you further along. Especially when you get here for the first time, the way I'm going to tell you to do it, I think is going to be a lot better, because you're going to get here with not 20 people alive when you first start getting here, and you need all the damage you can so you can see more of the fight. So again, this is here. We are at, if I go back just 5 seconds here, we are at 513, and Tosan here is standing in the debris field, and we're going to get a lot more people. Now we're at Atax and Odesenshi, and watch how many more people. Look, we haven't killed any ads, and look at how many people are standing in this debris field taking extra damage right now. When Tosan gets out of this, he's going to be in it for 7 seconds. He is at 10% health. Atax has been in it for 8 seconds. He's at 10% health. He also, I know Atax at minimum had to soak one of the first bombs, I think, at the beginning of the platform. So he is now out of defensives, and I know this because I looked at the log already. And now he has to do the gravities. he dies before the gravities even happen, and he's the gravity circle person, which means now his entire melee camp is going to end up getting killed. Tosan ends up dying as well. All the melee haven't even died yet from this, or maybe they have. And yeah, like, just watch their health bars as they get across here. Like, there's so many unhealthy people here, and they just get finished off by it all happening. So I would not recommend you do Pargos platform. Instead, and this is going to be our Toshin's platform, make sure you assign what DKs are gripping where. Make sure you're telling your tank where you want Artosian to be positioned. Artosian's position doesn't matter nearly as much as Pargos. I would definitely not take him like on top of the Void Wardens. I would take him a little bit away because you want the same zone thing happening on Artosian's platform. We didn't make any hard assigned rules for these. The only hard assigned rule that we really made is that our Holy Priest is the slowest person in the raid team, just from a movement speed perspective, and we wanted to give her the outside line as much as possible, but it was her responsibility to make sure that she got the outside line. It wasn't other people's responsibility around her. It was her responsibility to force that she was the person with that outside line. Your first soak is going to be a straight line pattern, is what we call it. Melee go bottom, healers in the center, range go to the top. One small thing that people do on prog that causes problems is some people who get targeted with a circle will sometimes put part of the circle out of the map. You do not want to do that. You're already strapped in these melee and range circles for the amount of people you have to put in these circles, and you even just putting a little bit of your circle off of the map is going to take away 1 or 2 spots for the people to stand in, which means you're going to have more people standing on top of each other, which just means calamity, right? So make sure you emphasize that people aren't doing that. I would hard assign positions, and I would make these very similar to how you want people to stand in phase 3. I did not do that. That's probably one of the mistakes I made when it came to our progression. But hard assigning where everyone is standing at will make your phase 2 go easier, and when you get into phase 3, everyone knows where they're supposed to be standing as well, so you just do that. This person knows they're supposed to be standing at the bottom. I just put them there because I was running out of space, and this person is supposed to be standing off to the side. Same thing, ran out of space. You don't want people standing in the center because don't forget there is going to be one targeted who has to be the center point of the circle, right? So these next lines, this is probably the most difficult thing for people to learn on our Toshin's platform, is you want these lines to get projectile this way so that when they get shot and the winds happen, they go through the gap. The mistake that a lot of people make is they'll put a line this way, they get shot this way, and the winds happen, and now they're hitting the Void Wardens. Unless you're like a disengage class or a port class or whatever it might be, that's almost certainly going to get you killed. Obviously, there's other abilities like with DKs and Heroic Leap and other things you can do to get around it, stepping to a friend. But good practice would be to point these lines like that. Like this, you are never coming back to this side of the platform. You don't want to point the lines so that they go like this way toward the next side of the platform that you're going to. Point them here. You'll get shot with the beam, and then you'll just slide right through this opening. That's how I would personally tell you to play it. We get stuck here. We play it again. We do these next lines. We kill this Void Warden. Again, this whole thing of Zest, Tay, Sheep Push, this is just the assignments so that everyone knows who's responsible for grips, where at, and who's doing what. One of the things real quick on this platform, pushing is completely fine. On Pargos platform, you can push. There is a little bit of a weird thing that happened, or at least it was happening for us, and we'll go over that when we get to Pargos. Don't forget to CC and stun all of the null binders as they get gripped in. This is your gate, and if you do get these circles, you're making a triangle formation. Should be the exact same positions that you did last time, with where like the circle goes and whatnot, and then our Toshin should be dead. Ideally, what's happening right now, and I'm seeing it a lot with like people who are currently still progressing, is people are killing as they are gripping in all of these null binders, and they don't even have to do this gate. You can do whatever you want. There's upsides and downsides to both. If you decide as a 90-second CD class to hold your second set of 90 seconds in phase 1, you can use your 90 seconds to help kill Artosian and all of the ads. And in my opinion, if I were progressing, that is the better decision to make. The only downside is you need to do this gate. If you don't do this gate, you're not going to get your 90-second CDs back up for when you get to Pargos platform, which in my opinion, Pargos platform is the more difficult platform from a damage dealing perspective, because your 2-minute CD people are going to be using here. And you're not going to have those 2-minute CDs back on Pargos platform. So you kind of need your 97 people to help carry the load there. So gating, in my opinion, is good. You don't have to get these circles. Just gating enough and having the planet getting thrown, that's all you need. And your breath or whatever rogues with 90 seconds, as long as you use it the moment you land on the platform, you should get it back up. Side note for raid leaders, do not let 90-second people carry orbs unless they are getting autumn, specifically to rogues. It's going to make their lives really difficult when it comes to CD usage on this fight. And then we're going to go to Pargos platform. Pargos platform is a little bit different. The biggest thing that I'm going to recommend, this circle and the positioning of Pargoth. Put him between the 2nd and the 3rd Void Warden. Do not put him on the 1st Void Warden like the first video I showed you. The reason is that his circle is going to leave a gap for all of your players to run through now. It also means that as the circle is spawning and you guys get done baiting and you rotate around, all of your melee can start doing damage to the Null Binders that are getting gripped in and the Void Warden that needs to die. So you get 100% uptime for all of your DPS in this point. Biggest thing that I would tell DKs, do never, ever, ever grip Null Binders behind the group. They will not die. I don't know why. The cleave just never works out really well. The second thing is, for all your DPS, you do not cleave off of Pargoth. Cleaving off of Pargoth means you put yourself in danger of killing this Void Warden by accident. You want to cleave off the Void Warden that you're trying to kill. Everyone needs to target swap. The second thing that exists on both platforms, as soon as this Void Warden dies, all of your ranged DPS should be swapping to killing this one. Because you're going to be fine on damage with Pargoth, especially once you get here with 20 people alive. And don't be afraid to lust for early prog. Don't be afraid to pot for early prog. You know, all of those things still come into play. But having your ranged DPS swap to this Void Warden as soon as this first Void Warden dies and all these Null Binders are dead is something I would highly, highly recommend. You as a raid leader, you probably have a lot going on in your head. I would tell one of your more outspoken ranged DPS or any ranged DPS lead that you have in your raid team, if that is a thing for you, to be the person to remind people to target swap. So that's going to open up a little bit of a gap for your raid team to run through. First thing is triangles. It's the exact same setup as we did at the end of Toshian's platform, and everyone is standing in the exact same spots. Now we're going to do the wins and get pushed through, and now we're baiting again. Just one quick thing, this whole sheet push thing, we changed it to me as the second DK gripping at this Null Binder in. The reason why is we tried doing Hunter Push, Typhoon, and Rop, and for some reason during this circle, the ad would like run into the circle, but then like an invisible force field from like a Z-axis situation would stop it from going any further, so it actually like wouldn't make it to the rest of the ads. I don't know if we just suck at the game or what, but we just changed it to like a DK is just gripping 2 ads each. Same thing, tank is gonna position so that we have this gap to run through, everything dies again, and this whole thing of making sure that these circles have a gap for your raid team to run through, in my opinion, is the most important thing to killing this boss sooner than later. Reducing this damage taken on Pargos platform so that you are as healthy as you can be as you do these final circles of the phase is the most important thing you can do to consistently see phase 3 with all 20 people alive. Okay? We gate across, you know, Pargos right here. You want to get these wins. Okay? When it is your first kill, you want to get these wins. The wins do a metric ton of damage because it's mixed with cosmic radiation, which is just the natural passive damage Dimensius does the entire fight. Tell your players to not be afraid to use Healthstone Health Bot personal when it comes to the wins. Do not be afraid to sign a healing CD, especially a short healing CD, to these wins. People can get pushed off the platform, obviously, but you don't want to lose people to something like that when you've gotten this far. So now let's watch the entire thing. Takes about 2.5 minutes to go through it all. Start with Autotian. Excuse me. I think we don't get 1 orb on our raid team now. Killing all these null binders. Um, my breath was, I don't think, up when I landed here, so I didn't use it because I would rather have it for Pargos platform, and if I use it this late into a platform, it's not going to be up. Set up these lines. You see how all these lines are getting set up. This guy can gust the wind, this guy can disengage, and this warlock. We don't have an evoker, so we don't have time to spiral, but he's going to be able to get pushed right to the gap. The difference being, if Tiger here would have put his line towards like this corner or something, it would have been really, really difficult for him to get through this gap. Um, so him putting it right there and still being able to get through, really good play. Artosian, pretty dead. If you decide to get all orbs here, he'll basically be dead at this point. And we're gripping on these ads just to make sure they get CC'd, putting all the lines where they need to go. I accidentally killed Linux because it is the most miserable thing. Oh wait, I don't accidentally kill Linux. Nice. But being a DK there, make sure you communicate with your team that like you're gripping and you have to move with the line very quickly. It's maybe the most AIDS thing you have to do as a DK on this fight, but we will skip the flying part because hopefully no one needs to be taught that. And as I land here as a 90-second CD person, I am ruining and going into breath immediately. It isn't going to be up for the damage amp until halfway through, no matter what I do, but I definitely want to use it as my first globals when I get down here. We're going to move boss. We're going to have not as a normal amount of space that we have, but we still have a gap that we can run through. We're going to grip all of these ads on top. Again, do not grip behind like where I'm circling right now. It's going to make the null binders just not die very fast. This Void Warden is already at 1%. And again, let me just show you the power of why I think this is good. These orbs have come out. The circle has just ended. All the null binders are where they need to be, and this Void Warden's under 4% already. Okay? Like, this is why doing it the way my video says versus how a lot of guides will tell you to do it, I think is the better way to do it. Get a little bit slow there, but it's okay. We set up these circles. We screwed up the circles a little bit, but whatever. We're all good. Void Warden is dying. We take it to the top of the platform. Wherever you take Pargoth here is irrelevant in my opinion. You do not have to take him to the top of the platform. You can take him closer to Void Warden where it dies at. Whatever you want to do is fine. First thing we do is bait here. I yell at my tank to get in the correct spot, and we start gripping everything in. Again, we leave a little bit of a gap for everyone to run through. Now this is a gate, so you don't have to do this one like the rest of them. I would still recommend you do because you don't want your melee to lose out on damage. Get everything in here and blow everything up. Again, these null binders are a little bit further behind. You can see like everything is dead, and this one is still at like 50%. The one that gets gripped in last, like everything is already dead, and this thing is at 50% still. So that's the potential danger of gripping anything behind. And we are waiting for this rock to get thrown. Pargoth's at 2%. I have called no more damage, and we are waiting for these winds to come out. And now we finish Pargoth. You don't have to cut it that close. I think anything under 3%, when the winds come out, you'll have plenty of time to kill before the winds. Look at our health bars. Everyone, we have 2 people at like, maybe 3 people at like 50%, 1 person at like 60%, and everyone else is like 80% plus. And these winds are going to hurt. They still hurt a lot. So do not be afraid to throw a button there. I think we use rally there just to be safe as well. So anyways, again, the biggest thing I would tell you, make sure you have your Pargoth understanding really, really well. Make sure people understand where the circles go and where they're standing in the circles. Make sure people know to target swap and what to target swap to. And those cosmic radiation lines on our Toshin's platform, make sure you have all your players know where they need to be pointing to so that they can get, when they end and the winds come out after the second lines, that they get pushed where they need to go through into a hole rather than anywhere else. Good defensive usages in this phase are whenever you get a line to use a defensive. Winds are good defensive, especially on the second set of winds on Pargoth's platform. What else is there? Soaking Stars on Pargoth's platform is a 1-minute debuff. That's a 1-minute dot that hits pretty hard. Those are good defensive usages. And I think that's about it. If you have a Resu Shaman, I would highly recommend you use SLT on the second circles of Pargoth's platform instead of the first circles of Pargoth's platform. One, there's not really a good time to use SLT in the last phase. That could be argued a little bit, But regardless of where you use it on Parga platform, I don't think you're getting it up at all with the kill times that we're doing now. In Demi, that would be a good spot. You might be able to get it back up for the third Poland circles and SLT right before the Poland starts to help get everyone's health a little more stable. But even then, that's not like the best usage of all time. You're going to be able to use it for the last Devour, but you can use it on the last Devour, I believe, whether you use it on the first circles on Pargoth or the second circle. So anyways, hope this video helps. Again, really emphasize to your players what I'm saying from a survivability and from a learning standpoint. I really think if you change Pargoth's positioning from what every guide says to what I'm recommending, that you will see more consistent prog and be able to get to phase 3 with all 20 people alive much more regularly. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a good day.